Good morning, friends. Happy March. I'm Diane from Boho Stamper, and I'll get started with today's cards here in just a couple minutes. Like I said, I don't like to start earlier than my advertised time because that's just not fair if somebody wants to join in. So I hope everybody had a beautiful weekend. It does look like spring's on its way. Let me get there it is. Yay. I see us. That's wonderful. Can I hear us? Yes, I can. All right. Wow. This is a good day. Like it when everything goes the way it's supposed to go. Yay. So while we wait for anyone else who's going to join us right at 10, I can follow up with a couple of the challenges that I've been sharing with you. One of them is our 40 cards during the 40 days of Lent. So I did get out a couple more cards, and unfortunately one of them is one that I used some of my scraps and stuff for, so I can't show you that one today because I didn't take a picture or anything. But I have all my envelopes numbered, and 7 and 8 are going to go out today, which would be Sundays and todays. So we'll get those in the mail. And the idea of that is during, no matter what your beliefs are, it's just a challenge for 40 days to make somebody smile. Maybe make 40 people have a little bit better day than they were having if we wouldn't have sent some kind of a greeting to them. And then my other challenge is using a lot of my cards and product stuff that I have still laying here from different things that I've started to put together and not finish. And this was one of those cards, and this is also using our March mystery card instructions. So if anybody is doing the mystery card challenges each month with Boho Stamper, you just got a sneak peek at one of my cards that I use those dimensions for. I also had this past Thursday, on the 25th of each month, I have Christmas in the Making. And I do that because when I was cleaning up all of my Christmas papers and stamps and putting everything away, there were a lot of products there that I really wished that I had a chance to do more with. And so, excuse me, with spring comes more sinus and allergies. Like, we don't have enough of that. Anyway, so my Christmas products, I figured I just was going to keep making cards, because who says you can't make Christmas cards in July, right? So the 25th of each month at noon, I do a video where we do some Christmas cards. And our Christmas cards this month used Tidings All Around, stamps and dies. And this was our basic stamping techniques. Get a piece of black under here so we can see better. So we had done this card, added a few more elements, and made another card with a pretty real red ruched ribbon bow, and then got a little bit more involved with the dies and embossed on some vellum and added a die cut, very, very dimensional, pretty wreath, and some red rhinestones as berries. So those were my cards this past week. Next month for Christmas in the Making, we're going to use Nature's Beauty, which is still available in the catalog. This is an image-only stamp set, so it helps if you have another set with some greetings on it. So I'll have to get those cards designed. You know, that's a good thing to have handy. I've mentioned before that one of the great sets out of the catalog, out of the annual catalog, is the many messages. And we're actually going to use that on our first card today, where you can stamp either one or all of the many messages on here. It's one large stamp. I actually left mine right on here because I just take this off and put it right onto my Stamparatus and stamp the whole sheet. And this has a coordinating die set. Well, it's not a set, it's one large die that lays right over all of the messages and die cuts them out. And you have a couple little key points here, some hearts and a star to help you line them up when you get them stamped. And then you get a whole bunch of little messages. And I've shown before how I throw my extra messages into a case and just keep those handy. So this is a good set to have for any of those stamp sets you might have that's an image only. Another good one, and it's in the catalog too, and we're going to use that today, is Parcels and Petals. Parcels and Petals has just a couple really nice little greetings on here, birthday and congratulations, you did it, and thank you, a to and a from. It's always handy. So we have that I'm going to use on the one card. I'd like to show you which sentiments we're using. So that is Parcels and Petals. Today, we're going to play with Playful Pets. The suite came with some really beautiful designer series paper. This is one of the suites where dies from the die set match up with some of the images on the paper, and you can just cut these right out. You don't have to stamp them and color them or anything. We're going to do a little of both today. Little paw prints. Just some pretty scripty paper. Little pet dishes and fishing. No, what is that? Oh yeah, it's a fishing line with a little fish, a mouse. Some little fishies and hearts. I think I used that one also. Anyone who has pets is used to having hair all over the place, so there's some pet fur for you. And kitty cats. Pretty striped paper that just coordinates really nice with a lot of this. And the paws. Little hearts and paws. So some nice paper to have. This goes with Real Red, Early Espresso, Cinnamon Cider, Basic Black, Flirty Flamingo, Soft Suede, Basic White. Today we're using Basic White, Basic Black, and Real Red. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. And I may have to get another package of this paper before it's gone, simply because I can cut that little dog out. March is a big birthday month for me. I have a lot of birthday cards that I have to make, and most of my friends that I'm making cards for are pet people, so this was a handy one to have this month. And before we get started, I want to share my spring card workshop that I'm offering. This will be a virtual workshop so far, and that will be March 27th at 10 a.m. And anyone who registers will get a Zoom link and instructions beforehand so that we can craft our cards together. Deadline will be March 15th. This is going to use the new all-inclusive card kit by Stampin' Up! And it's not even in this catalog, but it is online. If you go to my online store and search for Hello Dear Friend, you can see the card kit itself. The kit itself is $32. Shipping and tax brings it to $41.29. My workshop is going to be $42. And when you register through me for this workshop, you will get an additional 3 projects to use that kit with. I will send you everything you need to make 3 additional projects in addition to the 12 cards that you can make in that kit. And then on the 27th, we'll do those 3 projects for sure. And time permitting, we'll get through as many of the card designs in the kit as we can. So let's get started on today's cards. So this kit also came, or this suite also came with some very pretty elements, some little red and white ribbon and some black and white twine. Set my catalogs aside. And what else did it? Oh, trinkets. Where did my trinkets go? Because we're going to use them. Oh, they have to be buried here somewhere. But we also have, coordinating from our Valentine, we have black matte dots that we can use today if we want to. And, oh, I just found them. Didn't get them pulled out yet. We had from All the Trimmings Christmas suite, we have the little red dots, white dots, and if you want to put yellow stars, you could. So whatever embellishments you might have and want to use or want to get. If you really like those black matte dots, they were on back order. I think that they are back in stock. Here's my trinkets. And so you'll be able to get those still. The trinkets from this suite had little dog bones and hearts. Very adorable. The hardest part today is probably going to be, I should have done it ahead of time, string the ribbon through the little trinkets to get them on our card. The first card I'm going to do is just a basic stamping card. And I haven't done one of these ahead of time yet. So I'm doing this with you. And I will put all of the measurements in the comments section of Facebook, and I will also add them to YouTube when I upload this. And so my first card, I want to stamp our little dog on here, and just I'm gonna give him a little dog dish, and we'll use Stampin' blends to color him in. So, and we're not gonna make the coloring in a difficult process. We're going to just use some dark and light smoky slate, and then we'll use red on his collar, since real red is the color that is on all of our other images here. And I think I pulled out Rococo Rose to add to his ear, give him a little pink ear. And where'd my little dog dish go? I'm just going to stamp them both now so that that part of it is done. My dog dish back because I'm not going to be using that one again, and I don't want to lose it. It's sort of small. And I can set the Memento ink aside. And my smoky slate. I'm using thick basic white cardstock for this because we're using, and you can use watercolor pencils or watercolors or alcohol markers, which is what my blends are, Stampin' markers, whatever you have to fill in your little dog's colors. So I'm going to start, where is he? Here. I had one of the little dogs cut out of the designer series paper so I could sort of follow along and know what my colors were going to be. And I'm going to start with my light marker, my light smoky slate. And I know a lot of people prefer to use the bullet tip on their images. I like the brush. You do what is ever best for you. And just fill in your little dog. I start with my light markers, and then I'll add my dark, and then I'll go back over with the light to blend. A lot of different ways to do your coloring. I'm trying to stay pretty close to in the lines here because I'm not cutting this guy out, since this is one of our, this would be a beginner, a basic card, where maybe you don't have the dies, but you just have your stamp set. I'm going to use some of the designer series paper. You don't have to. Or if you have other paper that you want to use, you can do that too. I think this would be pretty with a, maybe some kind of a gray print background. Again, we're not making a major project out of all this shading. I will add a little bit of darker on the bottom of my dog where he's sitting. His belly is going to be darker. And I think just a little bit under his neck, under his ear. Not too bad. Okay. And I can take my light smoky slate and go back over those areas to blend them out a little bit into the rest of the dog. And I've shown before where Stampin' blends, I guess we could add a little darkness in here, has a light and a dark of each color. We don't have light, medium, and dark, where some other brands do. But what I do, and I think a lot of other card makers also use, our color lifter. I don't know that this really lifts the color. Maybe it does. Maybe it's bleaching it out. I don't really know if it's moving it, bleaching it, whatever it's doing. I just use a little bit of it and put it where I want a little bit of a lighter highlight color. Maybe the top of his nose, here on his little haunches of this leg, and maybe down the front of this paw right here, this arm right here would be a little lighter, and even maybe a little bit on his chest is not quite so dark. And it just adds almost the lightest shade of whatever color you're using. And for the inside of his ear, I'm using light Rococo Rose because I didn't really want it to be pink. And I think for his nose, oh, I think I missed a little bit on his chin right there. Okay, is this the dark? Nope. I think I'll use the dark on his nose. And we'll use a little bit of the real red just to color in his collar. I'm also going to use some real red to do his dog dish. This is the dark real red. I guess inside it would be pretty dark too. And where did my light real red go? Add a little bit of light real red across the front of the doggy dish. Now we don't want our dog to look like he's floating on air, so I'm just going to use this smoky slate again, the light smoky slate, and I'm just going to give him a little bit of ground that he's sitting on. And that's it as far as our coloring goes. So just using our alcohol markers or your markers of your choice, just fill your dog in. Then we need a sentiment. I'm going to use Happy Birthday, since like I said, I have a ton of birthdays this month. And I'm going to stamp that in real red. Mouse over there is in the way. My mousey stamp, not my computer mouse. And we're just going to put Happy Birthday up here. The stamp set also has a couple little hearts, so you can stamp. Or if you have some enamel heart embellishments that you want to add, you can add those. right, and that's pretty much a basic card. I better close my red here before we spread that onto other paper. So this will be our front. I've taken a basic black card base. Remember, all of my cards start out with an 8.5 by 11, except for our one fun fold we're going to do today. That one's actually going to be a little different. 8.5 by 11, cut in half, and then scored in half again to make a 4.25 by 5.5 inch card base. This is a little hard to see, and boy, yesterday during the rainy day, I was up here working on this, and I was using black cardstock and thinking, I don't know, I'm going to do this tomorrow when I can't see the black on black, but it's a little lighter today. I used a piece of the, I just typed up all my measurements. Like I said, I'll add those all to the description. I cut a piece of the Designer Series paper, and here's where you could use whatever paper you have handy. And I'm using my Stampin' Seal Plus to add this to our card front, making sure that I get my borders as evenly as I can, and that the card opens on the right side. Very important. And I had a piece of real red to mat my little dog on, and this is why we use the heavy basic white, so that your alcohol markers don't bleed through the paper as much. When you use the alcohol markers on just your basic white, that ink does bleed through. And so you really would never want to do that on the inside panel of your card without having a second layer there. If that makes sense at all. So we can add here, if you have some ribbon or some twine or anything that you want, you can add it here. You can glue this directly to your card and be done with it. I am going to add a little bit of the black and white twine. Just because I have it and I like it. Oh, we talked about our mystery card challenge, and for February, Roseanne Lyons is the only one who uploaded her photo of her card, and so Roseanne's going to get the February prize. I will send out the pack of Oso Ombre paper from Celebration, and I'll add a couple little blings in there for you for participating. I appreciate the participation, and I enjoy seeing your card. I'm so happy you shared it. And for anybody who wants to go out and check that out on Boho Stamper's Facebook page, under the photos in albums are the couple of pictures that were added. March instructions have been sent out and are also on Boho Stamper's website, and pictures can be uploaded into the March album whenever you have them ready. And I have that prize package started. I don't know what all I'll put in that one yet. Okay, I'm going to add some dimensionals. You can see that This was a piece of real red that I didn't use as originally planned. I'm going to put some dimensionals over that twine on the back to help keep it where I want it to be. And stick this to the front of our card. Yeah, so the mystery card challenge is just, we all use the same paper dimensions in the instructions. You can use any stamp set or paper that you have and put it together any way you want. And then the fun part is seeing how different all the cards are. If you wanted to have a different reading on here, from the many messages, I've cut out several different greetings that could be put onto a piece of real red background, and then we could have put that on the front of the card. So if you have something else that you want to add instead of "Oh Happy Day" would be cute. I just pulled some of those out to remind you that you can make these into whatever card you want them to be. And I have a piece of basic white cut to write my message on the inside. And there's our first basic card. Pretty easy to do. Okay, our second card. We've made this before, but I wanted to do a couple. I've really been interested in different fun fold cards. So I thought today we'll start with, this is one we've done before. It's kind of a Z fold card. And inside your message is hidden under the front panels. So we have, hopefully everything here. We have a real red card base, again, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I've scored it again at 2 1/8 inches and folded the front panel back. I do like to score it rather than just fold the card back because you could make this very crinkly on the front. And we want it to lay nice and flat. So scoring does help with that. And then using a bone folder to burnish your folds also helps this to lay flat. As we add the weight of the other paper, it will lay down even more. Again, I've cut a piece of designer paper at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, I think it is. I need to print this stuff off once I type it so that I have it ready to share with you when we're live. And I'm just going to put this on the inside panel, keeping my border even. And then my front panel is also, oops, I'm using the dog dish side, 2 inches by 5 3/8. And I'm going to just glue that directly onto that front little panel. So this is more of a casual stamper card. This is for somebody who maybe wants to just step it up here a little bit, and adding a fun fold, whoops, can do that. So it might be easier just to lay it out flat. Okay, and for my panels, I've used my ever used Stitch So Sweetly dies, which I use for everything, I think. And I've used the largest die and cut out a red. I'm going to layer a basic black, And I'm going to add my greeting on basic white. For this one, I had taken out "You're the Best," but again, oh, that's what I should have used on that one, huh? I hope your day is a real treat, since I had this little doggy dish there. That would have been smart. Oh, well, they still come out cute, even if I'm not brilliant. And for our dog, I had mentioned that our die set that comes with this stamp set, and this only works for the dog, I think. The other dies work when you stamp your images from the stamp set and color them in, and then the dies cut those out. The dog, you kind of get a little bonus, because out of the Designer Series paper, he matches, is he on here? No, he's not on that one. Hold on here, let's get another piece out. Here we go. And that dog's not on this sheet. Okay. And I don't think these match any of the other ones. I know it matches, but there they are. I was going to say, I cut them out. So he matches this designer paper, and you can cut this little dog right out of the paper. You don't have to, you don't have to color him in or anything. And then I don't think these match any of the other ones. I haven't really tried. Oh, let me see. This one looks like it should be a cat. This matches this little guy here. There. The backwards facing dog. And the laying down little kitty cat. But not all of these images are on the designer paper. We just have a bonus with that die, which makes it real handy if you're in a hurry. And just die cut one of those little fellas out and fold your card base like we're doing, and you have a pretty fancy looking card. Okay. So I've die cut one of those dogs, which I don't even have a clue where he's at now. There he is. We also have little paw prints that you can die cut out. And if you notice, if you need a red heart, the little pad of the paw print is a heart, so you can cut those out of red and use them as hearts too. But just to save some time, I already cut him out. So let's get our, what are we going to stamp on this one? Maybe from that Parcels and Post set that had some nice sayings in it. And I was using that for the other card. This one is just, that's where my happy birthday's coming from. Approaching Perfection. I just figured since I had to have a lot of birthday cards, I would use some of those. There it is. Let's do, how about Birthday Cheer to You All Year? Is that going to fit on there with my little dog? Because I don't want to cover it up. Oh, I think it will. And red, we'll use some real red. Yeah, that's going to be good. fine. When I look at it, I thought it looked a little bit heavy in some areas, but it's okay. I did cut an extra Stitch So Sweetly dies in case I really make a mess here. I can do it again. And yes, that was bad. I didn't put the sticker on the back of this stamp yet, but that's okay too. All right, now we can add, let's get my mat out of there again, and my adhesive. We can add our stamped greeting to the black layer. And then we'll center it onto our red. Now when we add this to our card, remember that this flap is going to open and close, so we only want to adhere to half of the panel. Okay. If you put glue on the whole back of this panel and stick it on here, you're not going to be able to open your card. So and it's better to be a little bit closer to the left side than to have a little bit of that ink, have a little bit of that glue hanging out on the right, because it will stick to our card. So I'll line that up centered. Good, no glue. And then I had another out of the basic white from the Stitch So Sweetly, and I used the same size as our black die cut panel because I want this to be hidden underneath when the card is closed. And oh, that one I had a thank you. So for the inside of this one, about from that same Parcels and Petals, Somebody Loves You Lots and Lots. Will that one fit on here? Because that's a little bit close. Where did my pets go? How about just, I hope your day is a real treat. Yeah, that's good. Oh, did I put that one back? Oops, my hearts fell out. Get in there. No, I didn't put it back. I hope your day is a real treat. Oh, and then we could put the little dog dish again. Actually, I'm going to let you guys do whatever you want to the inside, because I want to have enough time to show you the third card. And we still have to get our little dog on here. So I used a piece of my black and white twine and one of the little trinkets with a bone. You can either tie your trinket on here. Oh my goodness, it went on so easy. I was afraid it was going to be forever. Or you can leave it loose. I left mine loose. Remember, your card, your way, do whatever you like. And then I'm going to use just a piece of my tear tape on the back to hold that twine in place. Everybody has their own likes and dislikes. So you make your cards the way you like them to be. And then I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back of my dog. Get him on there. And in my practice card that I did ahead of time, I had some little hearts left over from, and you can go off your edge over on the left. You don't want to go off your edge. If you do go off your edge on the right, make sure you don't have any adhesive over there. I had some hearts left over. Oh, he's crooked. Left over from my Valentine's. Here, boy. Come on. Slide over a little bit. Okay. And so I just added a couple glue dots of glue, not glue dots. I just added a couple of dots. And picked out a couple of those leftover hearts from our Valentine video that I had. Again, you can use whatever embellishments you have if you want to put little dots, or maybe you have some different hearts you want to use. And so here was our second card. I think I will put a glue dot under my bone though to make it stay, although the other one I didn't, and it's okay. Okay, our third card. I also want to show you real quick. When you get done with your dimensionals in the middle of your sheet, don't throw your sheet away without using your end strips, because these are also sticky. So these come in really handy for adding dimension to the back of even a rectangle, because they just fit right down and you can cut them. So waste not, want not, right? Right. Okay. Our last card is more of an avid stamper card. If you've been doing cards for a while, you might be ready to try a little bit of something different. Like I said, I've been practicing with fun fold cards and different designs that I can find. So this one I found these dimensions from Becky Muir from a 2014 video that she had. And she had called this a one-sheet cascade card. And then later, when I kept looking for different folds, I found this also called a gatefold card. So whatever you want to call it, I thought it was very cute. It just opens up and then reveals our message on the inside. And so for this card, this is the one that I said we start with a little bit different dimensions than what we're used to. We're going to start with a 6 by 12. So you do need 12 by 12 sheets to do this card. And I used my scoring board, my big scoreboard, because I'm going to make several different score lines. Let's move these guys out of the way. I don't know if you have seen this in the catalog or not. This is the scoreboard, and I need to score at 2, 4, 8, and 10. So, am I in frame there so that you can see this? So I find my 2-inch mark, and I'm just going to carefully score at 2 inches. The little grooves in our scoreboard help us to stay in line and make a straight line. 4 inches. 8 inches and 10 inches. Whoop. Until you're like me and you don't stay in the lines, because I was going too fast. I always look at the clock and think, oh no, I'm running out of time. And then I get panicky. I guess I shouldn't. You can always watch this on replays. And then we're going to do folds. We're going to fold mountain, valley, valley, mountain. And by that, a mountain means that we're going to fold this first fold up. And I want to make sure that my top and bottoms are as even as possible. So there's a mountain fold. Now I'm going to do a valley. Again, making sure that my top and bottom are nice and straight. Okay, I have mountain, valley, valley. Mountain. So that means this one has to go up. Okay. Now on these two outside flaps, I need to measure down 2 inches on each side. So I'm just using my handy dandy little red ruler that I keep right beside me. Open this up. And make a mark at 2 inches, and then the same on the front flap. And now we're going to cut from this 2-inch mark to our second fold. We're going to cut that off and then hold on to this piece. And I'm going to do that on each side. Just with my cutting. So our second fold in the 2-inch line, or 2-inch mark. And when I close my guide, I can see those little marks in the center ridge. And I'll set that aside. And I'm keeping it on my left just because I'm being cautious. Now on this side, I'm gonna go from my second fold in down to my 2-inch mark. Second fold to the 2-inch mark. Cut, set that piece aside. And now when we close our card, we have, excuse me, our little cascading or gatefold card, or whatever you want to call it. And the only reason we're keeping those little cutoffs is because when we do our pattern paper on the front, this is the easy way to do it. There are other instructions out there, and this really I did think was very easy, but we're just going to use those cutoffs to make sure that our angle pieces here are cut right. So for the inside now, did I not cut all this stuff ahead of time? I always think we're going to have more time than what we do. Okay, so the inside panel, we need a 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. And this one, I'm making a kitty card. So when you're using a pattern paper, remember that this will be our 3 3/4 side. And then we need a piece that's 5 3/4 inch long. And that keeps my pattern straight. For the 4 panels, here, 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 and here, we need 1 3/4 inch strips. Okay, so I'm going to use the same fish paper here, 1 3/4. I don't know if this will be long enough to get both sides out of it or not. So I'm just going to cut 2 to save myself some time. 1 3/4. And then I use the little stripes designer paper for this back panel. And again, let me see, I had those going sideways. Okay, 1 3/4 inches and 1 3/4 inches. And that'll be my inside here. So really, I do need a straight edge on the bottom. These are raggedy from where I had die cut. And because our cutting tool here can cut through 2 sheets of paper. That one looks crooked, doesn't it? Maybe not. All right. I'm just cutting these off at 6 inches because I know that my card is not longer than 6 inches. Get all these scraps out of the way. Now I'm going to use my little cutoffs, and this is where these come in handy. I'm going to set my inside piece aside so that I don't end up cutting it by mistake. And these are going to go on the front as such, because they are the same. I'm going to close them together like a book, and this is just to save some cutting time. That one is a little bit long, a little bit wider. It's not my imagination. I'm going to line this up on the bottom. I'm sorry, I know this is hard to see with the black. I'll line this up on the bottom. That's going to drive me crazy. Sorry, I have to trim it. I don't know 1 3/4 why that one is just a little off. It is. I knew it wasn't my imagination. Okay. See if that lines up better. Okay, so I know these are going to go this way. I'm going to close them together like a book. And I'm laying this on my front panel so I can kind of line everything up, trying to keep my borders straight. So there really isn't a measurement for this. You're going to have to work this out. On your card base. Okay, and if I lay it here, I can see that I have a nice border going around the outside. This is where I cut it off. If I fold it, no, I want to do it. Come on, Dee Dee, you could do this. Oh, did I use this side out? No. Good grief. This isn't hard. Why am I making this hard? Oh, because I'm doing it backwards. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to use my angle piece that I cut off. And I'm lining my point up to the end of my card base. And my scored edges are lined up together. I have that angle piece slid down a little bit on my card so that I know I'm going to have a border. And I'm just going to trace along that piece, and then I can cut that. Trust me, it works. I'm making it harder than it is. And then I can line my pencil mark up in the groove of my cutting mat. And I would just go through it a couple times since I did 2 sheets together. And when I open these up, they line up perfectly on my card base. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the striped panels. I'm going to set these on the left and right. And I know that these are going on this layer of my card, so I'm going to fold them together like a book so that I only have to do this once. I'm going to line this up along that scored panel, giving myself a nice border. And then again, I'm going to use my cutoff piece and line up my point to the end of the cardstock. My 2 scored lines are on top of each other, and my edges are together on the side. And I've pulled my angle cutoff down as far as I want my border to be. And I'm going to draw a line across my designer paper. And we'll trim those 2 pieces. And open the book back up. Now we can start putting this together. So I'm going to adhere my inside panel. Leaving an even border. I can do my striped panel. Again, with an even border around my edges. And my fish panel, little fishies and hearts. Oh, I see a piece of sticky tape there. Don't really want that sticking out. And then before we add the other side, I'm going to close this shut. And I'll show you why. I want to try to make sure that my angles look pretty even and I have the same border on both sides, same width. And the same with the fish. This is the more important piece, because if I were to open this card up and add my right side and then go add my left side, I might close it and find out that my pieces come together not exactly at a point. So I'll leave the card closed and line this left side up. Even still, I think I have this side a tad lower. I think it is. Come on, I didn't even seal you down yet. That's a good Stampin' Seal Plus. Boy, when it's on there, it's on there. Maybe I'll go from the bottom. That's better. Okay, and there we have our new fun fold. I used a red Stitch So Sweetly panel, a black Stitch So Sweetly, and a white. Oops, I have two there. Oh, where's the little one? Did I not cut the little one? Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh, the black and white ones are the same size. Silly, silly. All right. And I have, for this one, I did a Grumpy Cat. I thought he was cute. So I'm going to add Grumpy Cat on my layers here. We'll get the black layer adhere to the red. And get my dies here, and we'll do one quick little white one. You'd think I planned this to show you our little mini embossing machine. Really, I did not. I just cut it out of the wrong size die. So I'll use the smallest one and cut out a middle piece just to save time. Oop. This has a piece of washi tape on it from before, and it sticks to everything. I gotta get that off of there. Run that through there, and I have a small label then. It's better. These are the Stitched So Sweetly dies that you see me use so very often. Great set to have. Perfect, perfect. There's so much. Okay, we need now, we did Happy Birthday from the Approaching Perfection stamp set. And for this little, I don't know, he's pretty grumpy. I don't know if he wants me to put a heart around his neck or not, but we're going to. I like Grumpy Cat. If you've never paid attention to the Grumpy Cat memes, you'll have to go look him up. He's pretty much says what a lot of us think sometimes. And my trinkets. Let's get a little kitty cat heart for him. And again, remember, we're going to only adhere this to one side of our card so that we can open it up. So you just have to decide if your kitty cat is going to be on the left. You're going to end up only gluing him onto the top part of your greeting. On the right, this would be the right, this would be the left, right? Right. Or if we're going to put him over here, then we can add him to the whole base. So I'm going to add him to the left because I want my cat to be secured on my card. And for the inside of this, I had cut another one of the Stitch So Sweetlies to put my greeting on the inside. And here again, you can decorate that any way you want to. If you want to put layer that up on the inside and then put another white one in the middle, you can make this however you like. And let me get a piece of tape to put his little collar on him. The first one I used little Siamese. These are fussy cut out of that designer series paper. As I said, there wasn't a die to match these, but really it wasn't hard. They're pretty easy to fussy cut out. Pretty simple shapes. And I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of one side. And here's where I can use some of my leftover pieces. But again, remember, we only want to glue half of it. Okay. Get my sticky scissors. I don't want to use my good scissors. I have one pair that I use for just this, just sticky stuff. Again, better to stay a little bit on the inside of your panel than getting it too close to the edge where you're going to see on the outside. So this was our most difficult card today. Actually, I think this is the most, it wasn't difficult, just it looks it. Looks like we've really planned and designed this one. I'm going to move over there, little heart. I'm going to glue dot my little heart in place. But I'm also going to put some more sticky tape on him so that he sticks to the card, rather than using my Stampin' seal, since I've already got sticky tape on there. Although I don't really want to waste it because this stuff comes in handy, especially for narrow lettering and things like that. Doesn't peel off any easier than dimensionals for me either. Add Mr. Grumpy Cat to the front here. And glue dot. I wish my my order would get here. I'm getting really low on glue dots. I'm just going to add one to the back of this heart because I don't want it to. On the Siamese cat, I had tied it a little bit different and it stays more in place there. And also on my inside, I used the little mouse stamp just with basic gray. And so there's our pretty cascade card. I hope you enjoyed that one. And thank you to Becky for putting these dimensions out there and showing how to make this card very easy. So I've gone a little over today. If you've hung in there with me until the end, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Remember, if you're interested in that spring card workshop in March, just give me an email here and I'll get you on the list so that I can get that kit together. The kit would be mailed directly to you, but the additional projects I would send out to you. So I also would have to be able to get you the Zoom information so you could be a part of the Zoom call so that we could all work on those together. And what else? I do hope that you liked making our little pet cards today. I know for me this is going to come in real handy. Like I said, I have a few birthdays for my pet loving friends out there, and these will be just exactly what I need for a couple. I hope everybody has a great day. I'm going to glue my little dog bone down here, and enjoy any sunshine that you get. I know that it's a little sporadic, but it's coming. Spring's coming. Enjoy it. Thank you, everybody, for being with me. I appreciate you being here and spending some time with me. Have a beautiful day, and we'll see you next week. Bye.